folks, it's Pete Thorn. Welcome to my home studio and welcome to my demo of Mercurial Spark. You heard it on all the guitar parts on that track at the beginning of the video. What a terrific sounding amplifier modeling plugin. I was really blown away. I'd never heard of Mercurial before I downloaded this particular piece of software. I installed it, loaded it up on a track within Logic and plugged in, and I was really knocked out right out of the gate with the tones I was able to get out of it. So Spark goes after some of the classic British Marshall designs, basically. Plexi Super Bass, 68 Plexi Super Lead, 800, as well as the AFD. So there's those 4 modeled amps within Spark. And there's a whole bunch of different options as far as speaker cabinets go, as far as microphone modeling goes. Really nice cabinet modeling section that lets you blend between 2 different microphones. And you can move the mics around, you know, both forward and back and towards the center of the speaker or out more towards the edge. And then you can blend between 2 different microphones and select, you know, if you want to favor, say, a 57 over a 121, but just want to have a bit of that 121 mixed in, you can do that. It's really great. There's also a effects section, simple effects. You've got a chorus, reverb with a bunch of different options in there, halls and rooms and stadiums and good stuff like that. There's a delay section as well that sounds really good, and there's also a chorus built in. You've also got a stomp box modeling section that gives you some popular drives, so you can put a drive pedal in front of the modeled amplifier. TS7, TS808, modded TS808, there's a whole bunch of different options there. And then there's also a noise gate, which works really well. So I set out on that track to do something that sounded kind of like Guns N' Roses or something, and it ended up sounding like, I don't know, like if Richie Blackmore joined Guns N' Roses or something, but it was really fun to do. I was most impressed with the AFD sound. Sounds just terrific. As well as the 800s and the Plexi tones. I mean, it's all there. It sounds really great. So what I want to do in this video is just solo some of those tracks outside of the mix from the song at the beginning of the video so you can really clearly hear the amp modeling and the tones I was able to come up with. I'm also going to play a couple more sound examples for you, clean examples since I didn't do anything clean in the song at the beginning of the video, and just try and give you a good sort of thorough overview of what this plugin does and the tones that you can get with it. Okay, here we go. Okay, first up, let's check out the AFD model. So I used this for the guitar that was panned right in the song at the beginning of the video, and obviously I was kind of going for that slash sort of thing. This particular model has the number 34 switch on it, just like the real AFD amp. I turned on that switch and I thought it sounded really cool. Just adds an aggressive kind of upper mid cut and just sounded terrific. I used a modern V30 cabinet, and I'm using a blend of a SM57 and R121 microphone on the speaker, and I'm favoring the 57 quite a bit. Okay, let's check it out. For the guitar pan left in the song at the beginning of the video, I used the 800 model. I was going for a bright, punchy kind of thing that you would expect to get out of an amplifier like that, especially if you don't have the gain maxed all the way out. If the preamp's up around 8 or so, and you're running the master on 2 or 3, you get that kind of great 80s style hard rock rhythm sound, essentially. I'm also using the V30 cabinet for this track, and I used the SM57 and 441 microphone, excuse me, so 2 dynamic mics, and I moved these mics a little bit closer in to the center of the speaker to kind of accentuate that sort of bright cut thing. All right, let's check it out. For the solo in the track at the beginning of the video, I wanted to play my Strat and get that classic kind of Strat through Plexi thing, but hard rock Strat through Plexi thing. Players like Gary Moore and of course Yngwie, and there's other guys too, John Sykes, you used to see hard rock players play solos on Strats, single coil pickups. You know, back in the 80s, it was relatively common, so I always thought that was really cool. So that's what I went for here. So to get enough gain and make it work, I used the TS-808 mod pedal in front of the 68 Plexi amp model, and I love the tone I was able to get. It wasn't too bright. I didn't even need to roll off the tone on my bridge pickup on my guitar. I got a lot of clarity on the neck pickup and enough cut on the bridge pickup without it being shrill. Sounded really cool. I'm using the modern G12M greenback style cabinet for this sound, and I used SM57 mic as well as a R121 mic with the microphones moved just a little bit of a ways out beyond the cap edge so that it wasn't too bright or cutting of a tone. Also added a little bit of echo in the delay section in Spark. Okay, let's check it out. Here's another sound example of the 68 Plexi model. I really liked it, so I wanted to just drop the gain a little bit. Still lots of gain, but wanted to get a good kind of tough medium gain rock rhythm tone. And then after that, you'll hear another sound example, just same amp settings, but I'm adding the TS-808 stomp in front. And finally, here's a clean sound example. So for this, I used the 800 model, and I used the low gain input. So notice that the little virtual guitar cable is plugged into the input labeled number 2. When you do that, you get a cleaner tone, and I want to show you that you can get clean tones out of this plug-in too, albeit they're Marshall style cleans, but they do sound really, really cool. So for this sound, I'm using the Stadium reverb, and I'm using the both ×2 delay setting, which gives you some stereo delay stuff bouncing around. The delay filters out really nicely and kind of resonates in a nice way, so check that out. And I'm also using a really light chorus, kind of a medium fast chorus with the depth just up just a little bit. Okay, here we go. Thanks for watching my video on Mercurial Spark. Terrific sounding amp modeling plugin that you can use within your digital audio workstation of choice. I was really happy with the sounds I was able to get. And a couple more features that I just haven't mentioned quite yet. There's selections here for a couple different preamp tube models. You can select RCA or RFT style preamp tubes, and the tone changes a little depending on what you're using. You can also select 6L6 tubes or EL34s for the power section with each amplifier. And you can select an oversampling option. Seems to sound a little more detailed if you select the higher oversampling. There's ×2, ×4, ×8. As you move up, what you're going to get is a higher hit on your CPU, but seems to be a little bit more detail in the tone. So that's something you can experiment with if you get the plugin. All right, you can check it out further at the website that you see there on your screen. And hey, I am Pete Thorn. Please come back and see me for more videos real soon. Take care.